Hi, welcome to Jackie Burns Creations. The challenge is to make over a Longaberger basket. And the one I have, it was made in 1973 and it looks like a sleigh to me. I guess it could have been just for putting anything in, but it looked like a sleigh, but it needed to be spruced up. So go ahead, subscribe and hit those buttons, and it's all free. I'd enjoy having you here. Our hosts today are Traci Vanover and Dawn at Shabby versus Bling, or Shabby Makes Bling. So I had my son did a spray paint for me, and we tried gold, and it just was not looking up. It just still looked like the color of the reeds. So we did a copper color. Oh, here I'm getting ready for my resin. What I did was I did a whitewash over it, and now I'm doing the resin with the molds. And you do part A, and then you do part B, and you do equal amounts. And this is a really fast set resin. You only stir it for like about a minute or so when it's looking clear. And you have to work quick and pour it in there quickly because it sets up really, really fast. And don't mind me if this is going slow. I hit the slow motion button and I'm pouring it into the molds. The mold I'm using, the white one, is an IOD mold. It's an older one. And I like it because it has like a little rim around the edge and it tells you how much you have to use to fill them up. And so I just poured extra while I was at it because I had extra resin. The other one is from Redesign, I think. It's a nice mold and it worked well, but I just like that little rim. And they do that so you can feel that when you're putting clay into it and it just doesn't flow over the edge because it's real easy to flow over the edge. And I also poured some that were like little pine cones and some that were like miniature bells. I just don't show it on here. Now you can see when it's getting cured, it starts changing to white. And then when it changes to pure white and feels a little hardened, it's time to take it out of the mold. And it's kind of cool because it warms it up when it's curing, and so it still has a flexibility. And so the big one, I wanted to put it on the front and the back, and then I could mold it around the edges. So what I'm doing is I'm using Gorilla Glue, the wood Gorilla Glue. It sets up really, really nicely. See, I'm putting that on the front, and what I did was I curved it around the edge, and I could put clamps on it. You can see how I put those little pink Dollar Tree clamps on it to hold it into place while I did it. And the other side, I thought, oh, smarten up here. Why don't you put the wood glue on and put a few dabs of hot glue on, and that'll hold it in place. So I hope you're getting a good idea of what I did here, because like I said, hitting that slow motion button, I've done it before, and it's like, oh. And it's right next to the record button. So I thought I was going to use one of the wider molds, the straight molds, but I ended up using the smaller one. It fit better into the edges of the swirly molds. And I do exactly the same thing on the other side. Only thing is one of the molds in the back I didn't get quite the same angle. but you can't tell when you're looking at it. Still is all good. And here I'm getting ready to put one of those swirly molds down. I put it a little more straight than curving it in, but like I said, it still looks good. When you're using this resin clay, you use everything silicone, the stirrers, the little beakers that you use, everything, because then when it sits up in there, you can just peel it right out. Like I said, I put one of those molds on the back, but I raised it up higher, and you can see how the edge of it, I ended up putting those little jingle bells on it, or the bells on it. So now what I'm doing is I'm painting, and it's called Village Pink, and it's cottage color. It's all the steps in one. You don't need a sealer for it or anything. It self-levels, it seals. It's a DIY one with done with Jamie Ray Vintage, and she picked out all the colors herself. Her and her husband experimented with colors to see what they liked. And it's hard to tell on camera, but it's a really subtle kind of peachy pink, but it's very pretty. So I've just got this brush where I'm just going in, dabbing at the details to get it to lay in there good. And this resin holds the paint really well. I don't think it would take a dye or anything if you tried to put it in there, because it's so white. It wouldn't take a glitter or anything like that. You'd have to do clear for that. But I wanted it so I could paint it. And I painted the inside rim. Maybe you could see just a little touch, but it's a very subtle little pink. And I thought, oh, this would be fun for a sleigh. Everything doesn't always have to be red. And I did just little bit of dabby. Oh, two coats. I put 2 coats on it, so it would be nice in there. And I just kind of dabbed and swirled at it so you couldn't see any brush marks. Oh, and now I've got the DIY wax. It's the dark wax. And I love these waxes. They're just like butter. And I am going all over the basket, all over the molds, all over the basket. And what you do is put it on and put it on, wax off. These brushes are really good for dabbing into all the little areas to make them stand out. You don't want it totally dark. It just wants to pick up the molding areas. If you can hear that noise in the background, it's a big white lab, and he wants his back scratched, so he's pushing against my feet and he's pushing against the couch. This is my grand puppy. So now what I have is I have Golden Ticket. It's a gold wax, but it's a little different consistency. It goes on more like a paint, so I just kind of did a dry brush over it because I didn't want it on real thick. And I even brushed it on the basket inside and out. This you don't really wipe off. Well, I guess you could wipe it off, but this you don't wipe off. You just put it on very lightly. I just would touch an area, and you can see I touched the paper plate, and just have it on the brush so I can put it on very lightly. Just using a very gentle hand to do it. Now I'm going over the bottom, and I didn't want full coverage. I just wanted some of that gold against that copper color. Now here's the stand for it. It has this metal stand for it, and I cleaned it off, and now I'm hitting the golden ticket on that too. And it's interesting because then that way the dark comes through on the golden ticket and makes it more rich. And here it is all finished. I only had a few decorations around to put in it because everything's packed away this time of year. See, look how that brings out that detail. You see the little bells in the back. And probably more towards Christmas I'll decorate it up, but these were just a few things I had picked up at Goodwill. Isn't that back pretty? Well, I hope you like it. I think it looks stunning. It really spruces up that basket. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you come watch again. Like I hate, don't forget to subscribe and like that thumbs up. Bye for now.